calling it Barbie Dream Fest, Barbie Nightmare Fest. Like this has been a disaster. Pictures are coming online, videos are coming online. Angel Reese spoke. Nobody showed up. Nobody was there. It was a complete and total failure. Look at this headline, folks. Look at this headline. We'll get to Angel Reese in a second. Barbie Dream Fest, quote.
For those unaware, there exists an event called Barbie Fest, essentially a Comic-Con built around Barbie culture. The gathering featured several notable guests, including Serena Williams and Angel Reese. What unfolded, however, has since been described across social media as Barbie Nightmare Fest, an outright disaster by nearly every measure. Photos and footage circulating online tell the story clearly. When Angel Reese took the stage to address the crowd, the space around her was almost entirely vacant, rows of open floor, empty vendor booths.
Second. Barbie Dream Fest, quote, nightmare. I mean, people paid like $1,000 for 3 days of this crap. For a pass. Look at this. Look at that. Nobody. Nothing. And look at the booths. Pathetic. Some people are calling this a fraud job. All right, a fraud job. Check this.
Barely a soul in attendance. The visual was stark. During her remarks, Reese spoke about resilience and growth. She talked about accepting setbacks, finding gratitude in difficult experiences, and encouraging women to chase their ambitions without hesitation. The speech itself was composed and genuine. The problem was the setting, a near-empty room where the echo off the walls was more audible than any applause. Online reactions have been harsh.
All right, a fraud job. Check this out. Here's Angel Reese right here at this event actually speaking.
To take every L on the chin and turn it into a positive and make it a blessing. I'm just so happy and grateful and graceful that I was able to experience everything in life that I have experienced, from the negative to the positive, because it has shaped me into the woman that I am today. I wouldn't be able to be here and be able to experience these things without those moments.
Several attendees took to Reddit to share their frustration. One person disclosed spending roughly $300 on a 3-day pass, $600 on a hotel, and arriving only to be met with an underwhelming shell of what was promised. Upon approaching guest services and asking whether the venue was truly all there was, the staff member reportedly responded that the question had already been raised many times that day. The physical setup drew its own criticism. A cardboard Barbie dream house with a VW wagon nearby served as the centerpiece attraction with the doors shut, so no entry was even possible. Beyond that, the floor space was sparse, open, and largely hollow.
Without those moments, and I wouldn't change anything. So I'm really grateful and graceful, and I hope you women just continue to dream big, have goals, know that you can do anything you put your mind to. You are next. You are the boss.
Okay, that's enough. That was posted by the Palm Beach Post. That video, folks, and yikes. Angel Reese needs a new team because what the F? She's a speaker and basically no one showed up.
The contrast being drawn online is significant. Caitlin Clark has appeared at events that drew packed venues and overflow crowds. The disparity has fueled conversations about event management, brand alignment, and the choices being made on behalf of Angel Reese professionally. Critics are suggesting that whoever is overseeing her public appearances is not serving her well. Booking her at an event that drew this level of scorn is viewed as a serious misstep. Some attendees have gone further, using the word fraud when describing the event overall. There is talk of potential legal action against the organizers, given that people traveled from outside the area, paid significant money, and arrived to find what amounted to an empty convention hall with cardboard props.
And basically no one showed up. This is wild. Look at this one. There's going to be this one dude standing at the front right here. Look at this guy. And then all this space right here. Nobody's there. Nobody is there. Look at this place.
Would have been able to skate in there. This was their Barbie dream house, a cardboard standing box with a VW.
The event has become a cautionary tale about overpromising, underdelivering, and the reputational damage that follows public figures when the projects attached to their name go sideways. The WNBA expansion draft is scheduled for April 3rd, and breaking down what every franchise is likely to do with their 5 protection slots makes for a fascinating exercise. Starting from the top of last season's standings and working down, here is a full rundown of the projected picks. For Minnesota, the roster construction makes several decisions fairly straightforward. Nysa Collier, as an unrestricted free agent, is an obvious first protection teams simply cannot afford to leave her exposed. Kayla McBride gets the nod next, even though she has dealt with injury trouble abroad and is heading into her age 3-4 season.
This was their Barbie dream house, a cardboard standing box with a VW wagon. It would have been nice, but the doors were closed, so you couldn't even go inside of it. As you can see, everything else was just spread out, open, very empty, very scarce, and it was just fee after fee.
Wow. Wow. Guys, let me just point it out before we keep going.
Minnesota appears to be in win-now mode, so McBride stays. Anastasia Kosu gets a spot too, despite averaging just 1.7 points per game last season. The 19-year-old second-round pick stands 6'1" and projects as an elite defender long-term. She is currently averaging 10 points in 18 minutes per game in Russia, shooting 60% on twos, though she has struggled from 3 this year. Dora Haz is another protection that makes complete sense. She has been one of the better performers overseas and holds a rookie deal, making her far too valuable to leave out. The 5th spot likely goes to Marina Klinikova, a reserve free agent who functioned as a highly effective backup big.
Let me just point it out before we keep going. If Caitlin Clark spoke at an event, we've seen events she speaks at, packed houses. Packed houses. Serena Williams, nobody showed up for her either. Look at this. We paid $250 per pass. Barbie Dream Fest is a nightmare. Look at this. I mean,
players who could realistically be claimed include Cameron Taylor, Natisha Hiedeman, and Jalen Sherrod, with Sherrod being the most probable target. There is a genuine argument that Minnesota escapes the draft without losing a single player. It simply would not make sense for an expansion franchise to burn a UFA slot on one of their free agents. Las Vegas presents a different picture. AJ Wilson and Jackie Young are protected without question. Alyssa Smith gets a protection slot, not necessarily because she is part of the long-term plan, but because she could serve as a sign-and-trade piece, and having her unprotected would be wasteful. What is clear is that Young and Smith will not share a roster next season.
Now, guys,
that's wild. Look at this, folks. I mean, what is happening? Look, this is where Angel was speaking at, right here, right here. They ain't nobody down there. Nobody. Look at what? What?
Kelsey Plum and Cheyenne Parker will not be protected. Same goes for Tiffany Hayes and any other veterans without leverage. Alani, the only player currently on a rookie contract, is a simple choice to protect. Chelsea Gray rounds out the 5. Dana Evans does not get the nod. It is not that the franchise does not value her, but protecting Gray takes priority, even if Las Vegas ultimately parts ways with her. Kirsten Benal going unprotected feels like an easy call.
Our team. 5 protections. Protection number 1, Nafisa Collier. I think Nafisa Collier, as a UFA, is going to be protected just to make sure that she's not obviously taken in court. I think Kayla McBride is going to be protected. I think Kayla McBride is a player that, again, is potentially going to be cored, and I think she might be extremely important. However, there's a caveat. She has been injured a little bit.
The structure here is about as predictable as it gets. Atlanta is trickier, and is one of the few teams where an unrestricted free agent could realistically be claimed. Naz Hillman as a restricted free agent, plus Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray, are 3 absolute locks. No scenario exists where any of them are left exposed. Tahina Paopao earns a 4th protection as a quality shooter on a rookie deal. From there it gets complicated. Bree Jones on a Supermax will not get claimed. No expansion team is paying that.
However, there's a caveat. She has been injured a little bit overseas, been injured quite a bit, and is aging. Like, she is well into her 30s. Like, she is born in 1992. She will be 34 years old this year. I still think they're trying to run it back so they'll make sure they have Caitlin McBride. I think they're going to protect Anastasia Kosu. I think Kosu is going to be protected because she is a rookie on a 2nd-round pick deal who was 19 years old.
Same goes for Jordan Canada and Brittany Griner. The more interesting conversation involves international players. Isabelle Borlase, the Australian prospect, is a legitimate name. So is their 2024 first-round pick, another high-upside Australian. There is also Kubai, who turned heads during World Cup qualifying for the Italian team. Atlanta's likely call is to protect Maya Caldwell, which would leave 2 international players exposed for the expansion team to scoop up.
On a 2nd-round pick deal who was 19 years old, coming into a rookie season last year, who is 6'1", projects to be an elite defender. Yes, averaged 1.7 points per game. But it's going to be... How is she getting on this year, actually? How is she getting on this year? I have no idea how exactly Anastasia Kosu is getting on. Who is she playing for? So, she is currently playing in Russia again this year, I think. And on the year, she is average.
Phoenix is in a uniquely uncomfortable position. The franchise simply cannot retain Satu Sabally, Kalea Copper, and Dana Bonner all at once. The finances do not allow for it. Lexi Held is a reserve free agent. Sammy Wickham and Alyssa Thomas have their status. Kalani Brown is actually under contract, reportedly on a figure around $100,000. Kiana Williams is a younger player whose exact free agency status is a bit murky.
Averaging 10 points per game in 18 minutes per game. Has not hit it, is 0 of 9 from 3, but shooting 60% from 2. So a regression in 3-point attempts this year. However, like, in a not terrible league, she's having some good games. But I do think she is going to be protected as one of their 5 protections. I think they're going to be protecting a player who didn't play last year in Dorka Juhas. I think Dorka Juhas has shown she's been one of the best players in the overseas right now. And the fact they've got her on a rookie.
The team holds some form of rights to nearly everyone except Sabally, Copper, Bonner, and Wickham. Protected players will almost certainly include Alyssa Thomas and Kalea Copper. Kalani Brown's contract is so minimal she is essentially free inventory, so protecting her costs very little. Sabally is the complicated 9 months sidelined with a concussion cannot be ignored. No matter how talented the player, the franchise may simply protect her anyway and let everyone else go. One name that is not getting enough attention in expansion conversation is Clara Holm, formerly Clara Lundquist, now playing for Perfumeria's Avenida.
They've got her on a rookie deal. They would be crazy not to protect Dorka Juhas, unless, of course, Dorka Juhas is not planning on coming back. And then when it comes to restricted free agents, I actually don't think that any of Alana Smith or Courtney Williams are going to be cored. So I think they're going to, in their last protection, protect Marina Klindakova. Why? She is a reserve free agent. She is going to cost them close to a minimum deal. And I thought she was a very effective backup big, which means players that could be taken in the expansion drafts. Cameron Taylor.
In Eurobasket, she averaged nearly 20 points and 10 rebounds. In Eurobasket qualifiers, she averaged 22 and 10. She is putting up 8.2 points, 4.7 boards, and 3.5 assists for one of the top clubs in the EuroLeague. She may be the single most attractive international player available to expansion teams this cycle. Kitlaxa also figures to be claimed. New York's situation is arguably the most straightforward of any contender.
Expansion drafts. Cameron Taylor, Dijonay, Natisha Heidemann, Jalen Sherrod. A lot of these, I think Sherrod might be reserved. My expectation is that the Minnesota Lynx might not lose a player in the expansion draft. Maybe they lose Jalen Sherrod. They might not lose a player in the expansion draft because it just doesn't make any sense to draft, to waste a UFA slot on one of their UFAs. Then we've got the Aces. And the Aces team protection is an interesting one. So, I think, obviously...
Sabrina Ionescu is protected. Brianna Stewart, who has already been cored twice, gets a protection slot. Betnesia Laney Hamilton, whose contract was suspended, remains under exclusive negotiating rights. She goes in. Leonie Fiebig is a no-brainer. Nyara Sabely on a strong deal rounds out 5. Who will not be protected? Natasha Cloud almost certainly won't be.
So, I think, obviously, duh. AJ Wilson, Jackie Young. Duh. I think they protect Nalissa Smith for the reason that I think she could be a sign and trade target. Not for any other reason than that. I think she could be a sign and trade target because there is no way Nalissa Smith and Jackie Young are playing on the same team next year. They are not going to protect Jewel Lloyd. They are not going to protect.
Jonquil Jones is about 50-50. Kayla Thornton is out. Kennedy Burke, Izzy Harrison, Courtney Vandersloot, Talbot, none of them. The more interesting question is whether Maureen Fothu or Raquel Carrera gets a spot, depending on if they are expected to come over. The expansion franchise will likely go international with their New York picks. Maureen Johannes as a reserve free agent is probably the most logical claim, alongside Fothu. Indiana's protection list essentially writes itself.
Lloyd. They are not going to protect Cheyenne Parker-Tyus. They're not going to protect Kia Stokes. They're not going to protect Meg Gustafson. I think they're going to protect Aaliyah Nye. I think Aaliyah Nye on a rookie deal, the only player on this team on a rookie deal, is an obvious one. And then it comes down to Chelsea Gray or Dana Evans. I think they're going to protect Chelsea Gray. I don't think they care that much about Dana Evans coming back because Dana Evans... I think Dana Evans might be UFA. But no, they'll protect Chelsea Gray. They'll protect... I don't know if they'll keep Chelsea Gray, but they'll protect her. Absolutely. I think it's a fairly obvious one. I think they'll let Kirsten Bell walk.
Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull, and Michaela Onyenwar are the 5 no debate required. The player most likely going to the expansion team out of Indiana is Chloe Bibby, and possibly Kristen Williams alongside her, though Bibby alone is the more confident call. Seattle's roster creates a bit of a strange scenario. Dominique Malonga and Jewel Lloyd are absolute certainties to be protected. Beyond that, the franchise might go with Nika Mule, Skylar Diggins-Smith, and Gabby Williams because the rest of the roster is largely composed of UFAs the team may not be especially invested in keeping. Zia Cook does not seem like a priority.